Hello there, and welcome back to World of Warships. Yes, World of Warships. It's been a while, and once in a while I try to make a video. Today's battle is exceptional for me because it is again in the German Tier 10 battleship, the Großer Kurfürst, and it's simply the best battle that I've ever had. Not just only in terms of raw damage, that as well, but also how it worked out, how the positioning and the planning just paid off. And that is something that, sadly, due to the massive amount of RNG in this game, doesn't really happen all that often. Now, why did I play World of Warships in the first place? Well, I just had a conversation in private with Drakinifel, and then I was just in the mood for a few rounds, and why not Großer Kurfürst a little bit in World of Warships. I mean, it's my only tier 10 battleship because there is also still a grind involved, and yeah, the economy, I still have to earn a lot of the silver and so forth. And I have to say, with World of Warships, it is so much better designed, so much player friendlier and stock grind friendlier compared to World of Tanks, and to a certain degree also War Thunder. And yeah, War Thunder ships, they're just an absolute disaster. Dispersion issues like crazy, and the balance, well, it doesn't exist. It's absolutely wild, game mechanics not working. That's not to say that World of Warships is perfect, it's far from perfect. But I had this battle and I wanted to share it with you. So, no negativity here, let's just go for it. I spawn on the left side here on the hotspot map, and I want to obviously support my destroyer and cruisers and the other battleship. The Großer Kurfürst is more like a close range expert, not just only with the armor and yeah, the armor arrangement with the famous turtleback that prevents you from getting citadeled, but also hefty amounts of, well, secondaries of various different caliber, 150mm and 128mm. So 5.1 and 5.9 inch weaponry, which is nice. And well, it doesn't have the best torpedo belt, it doesn't have the best anti-aircraft firepower. The dispersion of the main guns is very often just made for creating memes, but in this battle it actually will work out. On this Shimakaze I shall now demonstrate what 12 guns can do, namely mostly nothing, so one hit on a stationary destroyer. And my secondaries will actually inflict more damage on this guy. But what is that? Is that a Großer Kurfürst? And am I undetected? So I switched to the Kurfürst because I know that the Shimakaze is about to die. And in fact I got first blood and I got close quarter expert, and watch this salvo, come on. 25,000 damage on an enemy Großer Kurfürst, and I'm in the perfect spot. I'm unspotted, my secondaries happily hammer away over the island, and my main batteries also can shoot over it. So yeah, it's a close quarters expert, or more or less a secondary build. Full meme build, if you will, and that's just more fun. Yes, I could get a bit more out of the secondaries, I could get more out of the main batteries. I don't have the legendary module, and yeah, it's my only 19-point captain as well on this ship, so there is this, but it's sometimes fun. Again, the Große Kurfürst is, it can be disastrous when there is an enemy cruiser broadside and all 12 guns fire and you get 2 over penetrations and 1 penetration, that's all, and then you eat a face full of torpedoes or you get set on fire, etc. So the Große Kurfürst can be very, very annoying to play, very outrageously cruel, because a lot of your skill that you put in the playstyle with positioning, angling and so forth, and taking the lead, prioritizing the right target, that very often doesn't pay off, but here it pays off. So 2 Japanese super cruisers come around the island, more or less in a pincer maneuver, and I switch now secondaries to the one in the front, swing the front turrets around, and I know that he wants to turn out, so I'm a little bit higher and pull the trigger. And yes, 8,000 damage could be better, but you know, it's in terms of Kurfürst measurement, it's not that bad. And my back turrets are ready to kind of treat this guy nicely. Yeah, and there you can see what I'm talking about. Broadside cruiser, 2 over penetrations and a non-counting penetration. Ugh. Switch secondaries to him because those secondaries have better fields of fire, and I keep hammering away on this guy. Meanwhile, I reverse and I anticipate here torpedoes from this side and from that side, and even without hydroacoustic search, I knew that they would be there according to how the Japanese cruisers kind of maneuvered, because if they maneuver that way, that's the best way to launch the torpedoes from them because of their torpedoes angles. And yeah, there is the second set of torpedo, and he has swung his ship around, so now I have to accelerate and I want to go back into business. So the best battle that I've played in this ship, and yeah, we still have 13.5 minutes to go, and I already am above 100,000 damage. Let's see if we can make it more. 3 shells out, and what is a citadel? Yes, and that's 120,000 damage. Good stuff. And there are 2 more sets of torpedoes, and I see that I cannot avoid all of them. Again, now I switch to the other Japanese cruiser with the secondaries and also try to swing around the main battery. I will only eat here 1 torpedo, but the amount of torpedoes that I dodged, I think, you know, it could be worse. And this guy, oh, he's caught in a turn. Come on, RNG, be with me. Shells are out, front turrets only. That looks not bad, come on. Double citadel, yes. 144,000 damage. Oh, that's great. So now there is the other Japanese cruiser that escaped me and a Baltimore. And so now I really go in. Now. I actually, together with the rest of my team here on this flank, we absorbed here the enemy's attack. Yes, they got A for a moment, but we made them pay quite heavily for this. And this is where the Kurfürst is really a tank. So my actual build is between a secondary build and a tank build. It's not completely 100% secondary, but manual secondaries is in there, and also with fire prevention, etc., and some other things, premium consumables, etc. I just try to maximize those 2 aspects. And if a cruiser knows how to, well, play, then he can use a Kurfürst that is playing together with him to a great extent. Can we get shells out on this guy? Let's see. So again, there is now this Kremlin, and that is a ship that I so far have not come across. So that is very interesting. If we then later can get into a gunfight with this guy. But at the moment, just right, he turns out. So shells are in the air, secondaries on him, and let's see if we can get a good salvo on. Well, that was disappointing. And yeah, that is again Kurfürst dispersion raising its ugly head, and the Japanese cruiser has turned around again to play once more. Again, I anticipate him to turn out. I know that he has launched torpedoes and only 1 over penetration. The Kremlin is actually going around the island, it seems. So we have captured this point together with a destroyer. And now I have to just simply avoid here the torpedoes. I don't need hydroacoustic search, but I activated it nonetheless just to make sure that I know exactly where they are, because the Großer Kurfürst is very, very, very sluggish. It's one of the sluggiest ships in the game, with one of the greatest turning circles and very long rudder shift time, etc. So you need to plan ahead a few minutes, so that is quite significant. And now I think to myself, well, what should I do? The Kremlin is going around, we have this cap, and the enemy team seems to be able to push through on the other flank, and I need to just simply hold this position, but I also have the enemy capture point inside, and that would be B. So let's see if we can rush B in World of Warships with a Großer Kurfürst. And yeah, now we see on the minimap the Kremlin. He is actually going around, and I cannot turn around here between the islands, so I have to go into this direction anyway. But maybe we then can create a crossfire on the Kremlin, because he again wants this cap, it seems like. And so far I'm not spotted, so that means that the enemy cruiser is either outside of my detection range or, which is more likely, behind an island. So I anticipate him to appear in the near future on my right, and so I train the guns into this direction. I observe here the game that the enemy Kremlin is doing here on the minimap. He tries to dodge all the torpedoes from our Shimakaze. And there is... oh, that was a devastating salvo on our Lenin. But hey, you have to show the enemy who's boss, right? Yeah. And there is the enemy cruiser. So I need to turn away, I need to get better firing angles for my secondaries, and so also to minimize the chance of catching a torpedo. But I know that his only chance to kill me are torpedoes. And hey, here he makes the turn, front turrets out, and yeah, another double citadel. Good stuff, good stuff. So I don't think that he was able to launch torpedoes, and so now I need to turn to starboard, so to the right basically, to go into B, and also to get finally some good shots into the Kremlin. So already 182,000 damage done. That's not bad by any standards for a Kurfürst, and I still have 2 heals. I'm more than half HP. Well, it could be worse, really. And there is only 1 enemy destroyer left. Shots are out on a broadside Kremlin. Oh, that looks good, that looks good. And we did a total of 1,270 damage. 3 shatters, 1 bounce, 1 non-counting penetration of the bulkheads, I guess, or the torpedo defense system, and only the 1 over penetration counted. Yep, that's Kurfürst in a nutshell. Let's see if we can do better. I think I made a little bit too much lead, just under 7k damage. It's okay, and now I'm in cover. The nice thing here is that I now can put more pressure on the enemy team when I go into B, because then our team has the majority of caps. They are too far away from getting them. We already have a ship's advantage and also a points advantage. The points advantage is a bit more significant. But I'm not quite sure how long our ship's advantage on the other side lasts, because those ships are rather low HP. And now the Shimakaze is hunting the Kremlin, and to hunt a battleship that is running away from the destroyer is always bad, even though the long lances are pretty good, but they're easy to detect and relatively easy to avoid even for a battleship. So I cannot really count on the Shimakaze making here a surprise devastating strike on the enemy Russian tier 10 battleship. And now I'm capping. And when I'm capping, I don't want to get reset, but now the enemy Kremlin is about to enter our cap that I previously capped. And again, I use here carefully the island. I'm about to reduce the speed. And I launched the reconnaissance aircraft, so I have a better view, and also maybe the aircraft catches sight directly of the Kremlin. Shots are out, and we get a few good hits, and reset 2 times. Now that was an important salvo. 17 seconds for me still to capture. Come on. And, well, actually the Shimakaze killed the Kremlin with 1 torpedo, which is fine by me. I think I would have killed him here anyways, but I now exceeded 200,000 damage and solo captured a capture point. That is really great. And there are just a handful of games that I had in the Kurfürst where I actually breached 200,000 damage. So now I switched actually to HE because for the bow in Kremlin that would have been the best choice. And I think that the destroyer is now around here. And I just activated my last hydroacoustic search. I have only one heal left, and yeah, my float plane or my research reconnaissance aircraft is not up for that much longer. And I knew from the minimap where the Shimakaze was last spotted, so I turned a little bit in and hope for the best. And yep, there are the torpedoes. That's set number one. The enemy Shimakaze, like ours, has overall 15 torpedoes, so I have to wait for 3 salvos in total, and then I'm fine for, well, nearly 2 minutes. There is the second set, and now I know that the enemy Shimakaze is going towards A, the way that the torpedoes are actually traveling. And there is the enemy Yamato. Now, the advantage that the Kurfürst has is that it cannot really be overmatched that easily by the Yamato's 18.1 inch guns, much like many other battleships that have bow plating of 32 millimeters. Only the Yamato and Musashi can actually overmatch 32 millimeters. But the Kurfürst has not an all or nothing armor scheme like many other high tier battleships. It has still a distributed armor scheme, and that means the front bow plating is 60 millimeter. There is then the Shimakaze, so I turn away and I need to angle versus the cruisers and then the incoming Yamato, and I lost here quite a few HP, but the Yamato is giving me broadside, but he's actually turning in just as I pull the trigger. And I took a massive overlead, and I still caught a lot of damage. So that's my last heal, and now let's train secondaries on him, and let's just kind of kite away. So that makes me then a super destroyer version. Yeah. But there is now this front cheek of the Yamato, and this is where I try now to shoot him. And I don't know why Yamatos do this, why they don't go completely bow in. I understand this with the belt armor thinking, but that's the result. I got a citadel from that angle, and my secondaries now blaze away. Seems like this Yamato is also kind of, to a certain degree, secondary build, so we both have a little bit of fun here, and I try my best of punishing him, and he gives me more and more and more broadside. Now I'm out of heals. I now have to even repair a fire. I have to kite away from the torpedoes. My only chance is here to kill the Yamato very, very quickly, and then hope that the points are enough, because I cannot really tank all that more. Another citadel, another 8,000 damage. We are exceeding 270,000 damage, and now come on, oh, this is close. Below 5,000 damage. I set the fire, and then rear turrets out, front turrets out. Come on. Yes! Last citadel, obviously, and 100 secondary hits only on the Yamato, and that was then enough to finish the game, which I survived. Holy hell! 290,000 damage dealt. 523,000 credits with a premium account that actually was gifted to me by Wargaming for, I don't know, 9 citadels, 267 secondary hits, nearly 100 main battery hits, 1 solo cap, 1 assisted cap, 5 fires set by the secondaries, close quarters expert, dreadnought, first strike, fireproof, and dreadnought. All the awards practically. First in team with 2,750 score points with 4 kills. That is epic. That was one of the best played battles. It's so difficult to make a post commentary about everything that was going through my mind at the time. I just played this battle, and I hope that you liked it, because I certainly enjoyed this battle. and I'm not touching World of Warships anytime soon again after this battle, because it only can get worse. The planning, the RNG, the rest of my team all worked out perfectly, and we won this game, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So that's it for me today. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the waves of World of Warships.